and without a lot of efforts, student strength is not increasing. What is the reason? I don't know. But anyway, so you are going to start today's class. It is a very critical juncture. I mean, all are staying in the home. I mean, nowadays the corona is increasing like anything. So stay safe, stay home. So to our MSO E4, I mean, class is urban sociology is going on. So I think today is the fifth class. So I just welcome to our Dr. Jena. So no doubt he is a very good counselor, and I don't want to take much time. So the IGNOU's objective is to reaching to the doorstep of the learners, true sense through this Google Meet, through this online counseling classes. You are going to reach to every students. So I do hope learners will enjoy these counseling classes. So with these words, I welcome once again to Dr. Prafulla K Jena. So today's session, I honor the session of the sir. You start your presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your kind introduction. And now we're going to start the class where we have left in the last class. So, dear learners, welcome, dear learners. In last class, we have analyzed about the evolution of cities. That is, evolution of ancient cities. And we have already analyzed the evolution of ancient city. And we will discuss about the evolution of modern city. Evolution of modern city. So modern city, that evolution of city has undergoes a process of development. Undergoes a process of development. So before stepping to analyze the evolution of modern city, what is modern city? Modern city may be defined as those city or urban area that belongs to the present and recent time. That means the present day city may be referred as the modern city. So, the emergency of modern city is based on the modernization process. So, after the industrialization and modernization process is on, that modern cities come into existence. And the cities are associated with modern, efficient means of production and provide a heterogeneity of goods, services, and interaction, heterogeneity of the population with a range of contact among peoples and places is what is known as a modern city. In modern city is characterized by certain features. The heterogeneous population. Then we can see here new technology of production and an efficient means of production and a complex social relationship. All these are characteristics of modern city. So the modern city is also characterized by it has a different dimensions. Modern city has different dimensions like the spatial morphology and location, economic structure, the demographic and sociological structure, and technological structure. These are the four important components or dimensions of a modern city. So the morphological, so spatial morphological location, uh, basically we know that number of modern cities have been developed either through colonial enterprise or due to administrative and political reasons by the colonial rulers. Let's say modern city. Now we do say Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Chennai. All these are due to this colonial enterprise. Modern cities basically develops. So they have a dual character. The cities, modern cities have a dual character. They comprise a traditional section along with the modern character. So modern city does not mean that there is complete absence of traditional factors. There are certain traditional characters that uphold to the past medieval or ancient cities. So both that's why any modern city, all cities have a dual character. It is a character of modernity at the same time the character of traditional society. So modernity, you must know what is modernity. Modernity की हमें दूसरा way रे बुझता है. Modernity may be seen in terms of model of modern Western city. सेटा ଗୋଟେ way of modernity. It also command a own immediate past and looking among to the development that taken place. So modernity means the development that taken place at the present juncture is what is called as modern. Then spatial organization, it is relatively a new city. Modern city is a relatively new city, founded and developed primarily after the beginning of the 19th century. 19th century ପରେ जो city गुड़ाक सब evolve ହେଇଛି ତାକୁ ଆମେ modern city ବୋଲି କହୁଥିବା ଏବଂ ସେଥିରେ modern city ର character କ'ଣ ଏଇଥିରେ ସେଠି heterogeneous population ଥିବ. Second, there must be a developed means of production and new methods of production. All these are characterized by a modern city. Then that is spatial location. Then economic structure of modern city. What should be the economic structure of a modern city? Every city had a economic structure because we can say that a city is also an economic organization. So say that modern city has its own economic organization. The traditional city was primarily concerned with the religious ceremony, political, administrative functions, and agricultural nature. But the modern city has a large market. Modern city provides for a large market, industry, trade and commerce. These are the features of a modern city. Modern city then goods are brought from outside and transacted. So transaction of goods is about the characteristics of modern city. Business, trade and business. Then demographic and sociological structure. Every city has its own demographic and or sociological structure. In a modern city, death rate have fallen significantly due to development, better health facilities, health consciousness among people, high level of literacy rate. This is the modern city death rate is low, but the birth rate have continued as before. So the birth rate is common. So this body chale. So due to the decline in the infant mortality rate, there has been a natural population increase. So infant mortality has been reducing due to different governmental health measures. So population increases. So modern city has a trend of increasing population. It's characterized by trend of increasing population. वर्धित जनसंख्यार गोटे ट्रेंड मॉडर्न सिटी रे हमें लक्ष्य करि थाउ and so that's why it is considered as the demographic structure of a modern city. So modern city रा जो demographic structure अछि हमें तो कोइ परिबा के what is the demographic constituents of that is male female population, the age sex composition, then age composition, ये सब को हमें demographic structure हिसाब से गोटे देखि पारो. So there are other social trends in modern city such as changes in family structure. That is family in modern city, the traditional city जो family थी हमारे joint family that has changed into nuclear family. So family structure is changed होला. Literacy rate रे वृद्धि होला. Then sex ratio बदल change होती. Modern city the sex ratio are always in favor of male. Always in favor of male. So ये सब को हमें उड़े. So during a social occasions of marriage or other birth or child tend to follow social observation. In modern city, different kinds of social observation are also. So this is about the demographic or sociological structure of a city, structure of a modern city. So then come to discuss about the technological structure. So technology, what do you mean by technology? Ordinarily, technology means the application of scientific knowledge. What we say technology. Application of scientific knowledge is called as technology. So technological modern city witness a technological change. Whenever a city changes from traditional or ancient city or medieval city to modern city, there is we mark a change in technology. The technological change हमें देखो. So the network of good roads, modern means of communication, transportation, एगुड़ा सब गोटे technological structure change होची. New uses of new technology, so communication network, ये सब वाला satellite township. So these are the technological changes structure of a modern city. So then after modern city, then pre-industrial city. Another evolution of pre-industrial city. So pre-industrial cities has been coined by social scientists for those cities in Asia and Africa that have arisen without stimulus from a form of production that is associated with the European Industrial Revolution. And this pre-industrial city is characterized by a complex social organization, a highly developed state or religious institution, and a rigid class structure. एगुड़ाक द्वारा pre-industrial characterized. So pre-industrial city is right. That means industrialized pre-industrial city कहले तो industry आरंभ हवा पूर्वर जो शहर सब यूज करता है सेटा को हमें pre-industrial city कहते हैं. एवं एई टर्म दा सोशल साइंटिस्ट मन यूज करछन्ती पर्टिकुलरली एशिया और अफ्रीका रे जो शिल्प विप्लव आरंभ हवार पूर्व जो शहर मानकर विकास होता से गुडाको pre-industrial city भागे व्याख्या करा जाय पारे. एशिया और अफ्रीका महादेश रे पर्टिकुलरली जेतले शिल्प विप्लव यूरोपियन कंट्री हला जेतले हठात शिल्प विप्लव आसिलानी एशिया और अफ्रीका को तेणु एई शिल्प विप्लव आसिबा पूर्वर जो शहर गुडी को परिलक्षित होतला ताको हमें कहू जे प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी. So pre-industrial cities has three aspects, mainly ecological organization, economic organization, और social organization. Because any city रा जेकोनसी गोटे city रे हमें तीनटा जिनिस को बेसी गुरुत्वपूर्ण. Every city has an economic organization, every city has a social organization, and जेतु it is a modern and pre-industrial city, then it is a ecological organization. So these three are the three aspects of industrial city. प्रत्येक क्षेत्र में तीनटा एस्पेक्ट रही एवं प्री इंडस्ट्रियल क्षेत्र में एटी रही. सो इकोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कहले द प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज डिपेंड ऑन देयर एक्जिस्टेंस अपॉन द फूड एंड रॉ मटेरियल. बिकॉज़ इंडस्ट्री अराइज करने थे तेनु दे solely depend on the food and raw materials obtained from outside and they serve mainly as a market center. Pre industrial sector गुडाको only treated as a market center for the industrial city. So their main function is to supply food and raw material to the industrial city or to the developed country. So that is the ecological. So iju rahila. So it is a number of handicrafts are also manufactured in this center. Handicrafts were manufactured. Because the industry is nahi, the people are engaged in village and cottage industry and making few handicraft products. Is so camera something. And the important political, religious, and educational activities taken place in society. इस समय यदि आउ कौन सब काम होए ना mainly religious और educational activities, political activities. ये तो industries साइटा की, so सही समय कौन होती है इस the different political, religious, and educational activities are going on in these pre-industrial cities. So on that basis, in prior to pre-industrial cities, the cities were known for religious activities. It is known for their social activities, social observance of the different social meetings, or political organization. In some kind of way, Saurabha involved there. So the city was known by that. So that is concerned. So ecological organization. So this ecological organization, pre-industrial cities, is not business center. The internal arrangement of this pre-industrial city is closely related to the city's economic and social structure. It has economic and social structure city. The concrete good road, provision of modern transport system, so these are different social divisions are also found in the city. A number of social divisions are also found in the city. Social division even a pre-industrial city today, it is not a business center which holds the position of dominance, but it is the religious center that is usually focal point of community life. You know, a pre-industrial city today, business got a focal point, but religious activities are focal point of community life. Religious centers. ତେଣୁ pre-industrial cities was act as a religious center. Religious center हिसाब से कार्य करते हैं. Then ecological organization गला. Then come to the economic organization of pre-industrial cities. So economy pre-industrial city differ from industrial city and also from the ancient medieval city. Every city has its own economic organization. So also the pre-industrial city. The pre-industrial city economic organization certainly differ from industrial city as well as the agricultural city or the ancient city. The main difference is that there is absence of industrialization. Pre-industrial city is the absence of industrialism. Industrialism or that is they uses inanimate forces of production in production, inanimate object in production than animate object. Modern city टा कौन करे और industrial city कौन animate forces को use करे. किंतु एटी industrial city में inanimate forces को use करे. That means human or animal. ସେମାନେ जो production କରନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ यही energy को use करके inanimate object को use करते. Some are animals or otherwise human beings are produce their activities. The cities depend on production of goods and services upon animate, that is human animal sources of energy. And animate sources of energy ଉପରେ ନିର୍ଭର କରନ୍ତି କିଏ ପ୍ରି ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ସିଟିର ଲୋକମାନେ. ତେଣୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନଟା ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ସିଟି ଭଳିଆ ଆନିମେଟ୍ ଅବଜେକ୍ଟ ନୁହେଁ. ପୁଲି ହୁଇଲ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷକୁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରି ସେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟିଜ ସମ୍ପାଦନ କରିଥାନ୍ତି ପ୍ରି ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ସିଟିରେ. Animate bullock cart, animated uses the different animals, horses, horse cart, donkey cart. These are also used for different for as a source of energy. These are the characteristics of pre-industrial city. Another aspect of pre-industrial city is associated with the unique system of production. City production of the city specialization nahi. Specialization is absent in pre-industrial city. System of production में specialization जब जो अच्छी है ठीक होगी modern city by industrial city city pre-industrial specialization of for the greater industrial cities every individual jointly or cooperatively perform their activities. Then pre-industrial cities commercial activities are also conducted in pre-industrial cities by individual without a highly formal organization. एठी commercial activities का किए in modern city or industrial city everything is formalized. Commercial activity is formalized. Into in pre-industrial city, it was not formalized. It is manualized or informal way. So, for example, I am going to say that city ta industrial city है modern city है सेतबले प्रत्येक जिनस बिजनेस टा भी फॉर्मल है. There is formal organization. जेमती आमे ओमफेड, it is an example of formal selling of milk. Into informal selling thila kono now we collect it from the milk sellers. Milk seller घरे घरे आने की देई होतला. That was a kind of informal organization of business. किंतु जेतबे in pre-industrial city informal business सब थिला. किंतु industrial city को सेटा formal हो जाउची. तेनु business रा pattern था. तेनु economic organization was informally organized in a pre-industrial city. So then come to the social organization of pre-industrial city. Every city has its own socio-economic and political organization, ecological organization. So the social organization basically refers to the structure, functions of family, religious institution, educational institution. So the social organization means family, religious, educational, governmental systems. And a social organization means there was no absence of middle class in a social organization of the pre-industrial city. Pre-industrial city social middle class social mobility was less. Social mobility was less. So there because people in a pre-industrial cities are less mobile. So they satisfy their needs within their limited environment. They satisfy all their needs and necessities. So that's why it is very limited in nature. So then the masses produce handicrafts and provides services mainly for the elite. এবং এটি ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରି ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ସେକ୍ଟର କ'ଣ ହେଉଛି ନା ଏଠି the masses, the general people produce whatever they produce it for the elite class of the society. Elite class ପାଇଁ produce କରନ୍ତି. And elite class of the industrial city maintain a very luxury life and it are the behest of all these general masses of the society. There is a formalized system of age grading as a mechanism of control in the industrial city. Pre-industrial city, the family, the elder son is the considered as the uses of power. So these are the social organization and the family system. Pre-industrial is different. That is based on joint family. The religious organization, education. These are the social organization how work in a pre-industrial city. Then we'll discuss about the industrial city. Modern city I mean आलोचना करें. Pre-industrial कले तापरे आसबो industrial शिल्पभित्तिक समाज में कहू कहबा a city is known as a city not only because more or diverse population live together but also more work and different kinds of work perform. ଯେମିତି work perform होची से अनुसार आमे गोटे सिटी टाको सहर बोली कहूचे. खाली पॉपुलेशन गोटे जगह रे एतिकी बास करी गले जे ताको गोटे सहर आमे कहबा सेमती कुआ जाई परिबो नाही. बरं आमे more work and different kinds of work are performed there. Cityটা কোন হবো মানে in a city, in an industrial city, people run by minutes and seconds. Works are organized. Industrial city work are organized. Sanghatita work. And people have no leisure, less leisure time. And every people always move by a count of seconds. Second is very important for everyone's life. So everything was an organized and systematized form, and people are engaged in a variety of work, more work, diverse population, diversified work. All this mark the beginning of a industrial city. There are time schedule of workplace, time schedule of working. That is somewhere we go by office by 10, we have to leave by office by 6. So these are the formalities that is marked in a industrial city. So there are certain characteristics of a industrial city. Ways of work. Industrial city ways of work. How we work. Work in city usually described as industrial work, which does not work in factories only. It also includes work in commerce, transport, roads, teaching, communication, many other things. ये सबू को मतलब इंडस्ट्रियल वर्क भी कहबो इन इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी खाली इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी रे वर्क कहले ये खाली ओटे शिल्प रे जो माने काम करे सेटा इंडस्ट्रियल वर्क कहबो अदर्स नो बट ऑल दी सर्विस सेक्टर रे जो माने काम करे सेटा इंडस्ट्रियल वर्क भी कहबो. But how emphasis placed on use of machines and refined work. Use of machine एटी वेज ऑफ वर्क कोन ना स्ट्रेस इज ऑन मशीन हम मशीन ऊपर बेसी वर्क करबा एवं वर्क प्लेस रे हमें increase the efficiency of workers. Efficiency worker मानकर efficiency बढ़ेगा एवं तंकर refinement of working. इटा अब industrial wage of working. यही wage of work कले हमें सेटा गोटे industrial cities का character भी करता. तो traditional way रे काम करबार शैली it is a refined way of working. इधर आसीबो सेठी industrial cities का आरंभ होला बोले कहता. Then mobility. Mobility means संचालनशीलता. Industrial city, the people are frequently mobile, or they have to be mobile frequently because of their work compulsions. ସେମାନଙ୍କର କାର୍ଯ୍ୟର ବାଧ୍ୟବାଧକତା ଯୋଗୁଁ ଏ ସିଟିର ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ସିଟିର ଲୋକମାନେ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହୋଇ ବେଶୀ ମୋବାଇଲ କରନ୍ତି. The continuous movement of people are marked, and they search for better opportunity. There is also individual mobility, physical mobility. There is also occupational mobility also marked in industrial city. Industrial city occupational mobility देखा जाए. Everyone is searching for an improvement in their job. प्रत्येक व्यक्ति इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी रे चाहूँगी से जो प्रेजेंटली वर्किंग करती जो ऑक्युपेशन है ताको गोटे बेटर ऑक्युपेशन केमती तार शिफ्ट करिवो. तो सेटा को हमें ऑक्युपेशनल मोबिलिटी बोली कहता. So there is a high people of the industrial city. industrial sector ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ ହାଇ ଥାଏ achievement orientation. ଆମେ କେମିତି move କରୁ that leads to occupational mobility, that leads to individual mobility. So people to increase their income move from city to city. Suppose I am working in industry in Bhubaneswar, so I am searching for applying for different industries, and in Delhi I got a chance of working in the same industry with high salary. So naturally I have to move. I have to move to Delhi by leaving my job in Bhubaneswar. So this is how this mobility, occupational mobility, is very common feature of a industrial city. Then impersonal social interaction. Interaction is common, as city is also a social organization. So as human beings are living in the city, so social interaction is also an impact. Working କହିଥିଲେ the city is the organic solidarity ଆସିବ ସେତେବେଳେ କ'ଣ ହବ ନା increasing social communication. ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ communication ବା inter relationship ବା social interaction ବଢିବ, rampant ହବ ଏବଂ quick ହବ. ତେଣୁ industrial social interaction ର industrial city social interaction quick ହବ, but all the social interaction are impersonal. जोटा प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी रे पर्सनल लेवल ले थिला इंटरेक्शन बा आमे मनकु इमोशनली बा पर्सनल लेवल ले जनक सहित होउछु, दैट इज नॉट अवेलेबल इन इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी. सोशल इंटरेक्शन among person is impersonal. People only elements of anonymity in civil life is found. There is primary interaction only available in the primary members. मिलले सिटी रे जे इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी रे जे primary interaction नहीं सकता नहीं, but that is confined only to family and near and dear. But all other relations, interactions remain informal. So that's why impersonal, informal and impersonal. Then time and tempo compulsions. Another characteristics of industrial city is the time compulsion. In the nature of work, industrial work, life in urban community becomes clocks regulator. Clock it is regulated. Life in the industrial city is regulated by clock. Frequently, life in a modern city or industrial city are regulated by watch. That every people are counting their every minutes and seconds and engaging themselves in different and varied kinds of work to get a better lifestyle, to earn more, to establish, to get more status. All these craze are found in industrial city, and that's why the time compulsion are there in industrial city. Time compulsion high. এবং সেই time compulsion people dare people to share time with their family, friends, relatives. That is the feature. Then family living and individual. Family living and individual. Another characteristics of industrial city. Family living. Traditionally, the family has been a large measure of measurements. Either membership of family, the status of an individual depend on his or her membership in the family, and mainly joint family. The joint family system begins disintegrate and nuclear family develop in industrial city. Industrial city कौन हुआ ना? तो industrial city जो है joint family प्राय रहने वाला. सेटा disintegrate कर दियो, तो new family form will emerge. That is a nuclear family. And in nuclear family, individuals have an important role to play. Individual गुरुत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहबो एवं family tends to lose some of its old functions and acquire new functions. ए industrial family के कथा पुराना function हरेबो, उनके तक नया function add करबो. वो individual who have to play different kinds of roles. Then environment is man-made and urban environment. In industrial city, whatever you find that is man-made. Naturality is less mark in industrial city is an artificial, not natural. It is man-made, a kind of environment. This is what about industrial city. Then what are the features of industrial city? How the feature what a new role emerge in the city, that is there is new role of individual. City re individual manकर नुआ role. The industry city re individual role करते ले एठी नुआ प्रकार role play करते. Then how can have another feature the special market. Industrial city re special market. ଗୋଟେ market ରହିବ that is specialized for a particular items. Industrial city ର ଗୋଟେ feature କଣ ନା special market. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ମାଛ market. ଗୋଟେ specially organized ଗୋଟେ place ରେ only this will be available there. So this specialization of market will available for a variety of products. ତାପରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଣ ହବ ନା linkage between larger cities and smaller highly interdependent. Due to the linkage, this another characteristic, important characteristic of a industrial city is highly interdependent. The culture of interdependency is high. In urban life, everywhere we have to define. Our जीवनटा एटी आत्मनिर्भरशील हमारा परनिर्भरशील मैं सब from the beginning of our day we depend on others. We depend on milk wala, we depend on others for food, for everything. But we have to municipality people to clean our everything we have to depend. So that's why a high degree of interdependency is a characteristic of industrial city. Then another is that specialization of functions. Specialization. In industrial city, people perform special functions. In pre-industrial city, gote loko sab kaam karta everywhere. But here we find only specialist. Specialization of work, no, nothing else. So specialization is the characteristic of industrial city. About plan. Industrial city is a planned city. It is street, road, buildings, everything was in a planned manner. So we try. I go to industrial city. Every industrial city has some regulating authority. Has some regulating authority. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ସବୁ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ରେଗୁଲେଟେଡ୍ ଇଲେକ୍ଟେଡ୍ ବଡି ହେଇପାରେ ବା ଗୋଟେ ଅନ୍ୟ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ଅଥରିଟି ହେଇପାରେ there must be some authority to control or regulate all these. Then we'll discuss about functional classification of cities. Functional classification of cities. So cities, we know that cities are built to perform some functions for human beings. Then a city perform many functions. Then a city को हमें different way से classify करते हैं, and city may be classified on the basis of their functions. Functions basically मतलब to classify. So these functions of city, according to RSUs, that 6 urban functions that classified 6 urban functions for the city. City category function करे, and on that basis of function cities can be classified. What is the administrative function? City performs some administrative function because the population, but how these people will be administered, how police administration will function. So there are different civil administration, police administration, legal administration. Is सबको manage करेगा पड़ेगा. So these are the administrative functions of a city. Then defense functions. Every city have to perform its own defense to defend itself. To security is नहीं पारे, but to defend from different kind of diseases, to defend from any kinds of sluggishness, to defend people from high rate, increasing rate. These are defensive functions of a city. Then cultural functions. So you know culture. So our city is a social organization. So naturally people are there, and there are certain cultural functions that are organized for merrymaking, for entertainment of people. So these are different cultural functions are also. As there are a number of people are living, so marriage, social occasion, birth, death, social ceremonies are being observed. So these सब function by the city में जो arrangement करेंगे पड़ेगा. Generally we are arranging the mandapas, the houses, the meeting houses, the site, the literary discussion with different places are there. So all these kinds of arrangements are there for cultural function. So city also performs some cultural functions. Besides, there are also production function. Production function पहले हमें the city has to produce, because production city production industrial production নহলে ଗୋଟେ city exist କରିବନି. The city have to produce something, କିଛି ନା କିଛି produce କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ, either in industrial form. The city ତ ଗୋଟେ agricultural place ନୁହେଁ, no, it is an industrial place. So therefore it is an industrial place, so it has to perform certain production function. That means it produce something for the as per the needs of the people. There are local needs to fulfill କରିବା ପାଇଁ the city produces something. Then communication function. There must be communication. ଅନେକ ଗୁଡ଼ିଏ communication ରହିବ. Communication function. How people communicate with each other. କେମିତି communication ରହିବ? What are the systems of communication? How communicate people will better communicate? Because communication is an important part of the city life. Communication function. Then recreation function. The city must have to make necessary arrangement for the must look into the recreation function of its population. Had it not been so, then there will be increasing crime, conflict, so that's why to calm these people's conflicting mind, there must be certain recreational functions are arranged by the city. City have to make provision for film hall, you have to make for the jatra, commencement of different kinds of jatra, there is different utsav, melody, all these kinds of entertainment program, puja, observations of different puja, these kind of recreational function must be arranged by the city, and these are the functions of the city. So there are certain Harris and Edward who usually classified cities, cities को हमें different place रे the transport cities, central cities, these are the cities and the census population census they classified the 10 main urban functions. Urban city center function को 10 भाग करे primary functional activities. Primary functional cultivation, agricultural labor, livestock, ये सब रहेगा. तापर industry, manufacturing, processing, servicing and repairing, trade and commerce, then transport, storage, communication, ये सब बचला. तापर service category, service, जो हमारा service provider, विभिन्न service provider करेगा. है ना, उधर city रे जो huge population are living, they require certain service provision. And से गुड़ा को मतलब सबू provide करा जाए. These are the then in city we have certain commercial centers. City, there are some cities which is declared as a commercial center, because trade and commerce the two major activities of medieval cities. Medieval city basically thila trade and commerce, that gives more stress on trade and commerce. As cities, so merchant and traders are organized into guilds. The merchant our traders organized in different guilds. Corporate house already guild. So these are commercial rise and fall of different commercial towns and cities and markets are dependent on political security. এবং এগুলা সব কোন ক্লাস সেগুলো সব অনেক গুলো রাইজ এন্ড ফল হইছি, এতে গুলো সিটি কমার্শিয়াল সেন্টার গড়ি উঠিছি, তার মানে পতন ঘটিছি, পুଣି নূଆ নୂଆ সিটি ରହିଛି. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମଧ୍ୟ ସିଟି ଗୁଡାକର ମେନ୍ ଫୋର୍ସ ହଉଛି trade and commerce. ଏବେ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ trade and commerce ଗୋଟେ primary functions of city କି ରହିଛି. Then administrative towns. There are some cities which is considered as administrative towns. केते गुडे सिटी अछि जाको हमें administrative town बोलिग्री कहछे. Several administrative town cities are headquarters of different states. In the administrative जेते हमें कहि परिया भुवनेश्वर, उत्तर प्रदेश का लखनऊ, बिहार पटना, पंजाब आसाम गुवाहाटी. So these are called as administration. That means the capital city where the administration of a particular state is run, or the administration is managed by the city. Set up an administrative city. So in administrative city you find all kinds of arrangements, all kinds of administrative bungalows, administrative police, jail, a system are there. secretariat, directorates. All these are administrative features of an administrative town, where all kinds of sets of administration are there, or well designed or well planned. That is set up on administrative suitability. Then pilgrimage city or town. Pilgrimage जोटा तो आम कहे pilgrimage कहले जो हमर the nation of religious pilgrimage journey है माने journey to religious places for merrymaking. So there are certain pilgrimage sites. Then the pilgrimage site the experience people a relaxation, gives people a relaxation. So religion always plays a dominant role in the minds of the people. ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କ ମନରେ ସବୁବେଳେ religion ଟା ଗୋଟେ dominate କରିକି ରହିଥାଏ. So ଯେମିତି କାର୍ଲ ମାର୍କ୍ସ କହିଥିଲେ religion is the opium of the people. So ଧର୍ମ ହଉଛି ଲୋକଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ନଶା. So that's why pilgrimage to visit different religious places of importance is a very innate desire of every man. Whenever we get a free time, or we get leisure, we always try to move to different religious places. So that's why pilgrimage. There are certain towns which provide these facilities as known as pilgrimage town. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ପୁରୀ, ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିପାରିବା ଅଯୋଧ୍ୟା, ଯେମିତି କହିପାରିବା ଆମେ ଏଇ ସବୁ great places in India that are available, known for their religious importance. So, and pilgrimage रे गोटे होची sacred site, religious territory, bank of a river, or हमें कही परिवा sea port city एगुड़ा सब जो हमें जाई करू these are plays an important place for the pilgrimage town बोली हमें ताकू कही परिवा different holy places and pilgrimage centers. Holy places are like water flow, religious places, deity site, religious deity site. जेमते हमें कहूचे हमर शक्ति पीठ सब, शैव पीठ, शक्ति पीठ. These are all these are the holy places and religious places जोटी सब concentrate करता है ताकू हमें pilgrimage town cities or pilgrimage town बोले भी कहता हूँ. People visit frequently to these places to satisfy their inner urge. And there is also always there is an interconnection among these administrative, commercial, and pilgrimage centers. Pilgrimage center there is a linkage because every city, the administrative city, commercial city, or pilgrimage city, the linkage from प्रत्येक offer को boost करेंगे for their economy, को boost करेंगे. So that's why there is interconnection between all these. Then separate trains and patterns of organization. I mean, organization of train of pattern. What are the trains? What are the pattern? Train कहले जो धारा, शहरीकरण रो जो धारा. शहरीकरण शहरीकरण कहले हमें कौन बुझू? शहरीकरण कहले increasing industry or expansion of industry, or more and using more production technology for increasing production. So these are called expansion of industrialization. Industrialization for the urbanization meaning expansion of urban area, or increasing urban population, or creation of more and more city life. Is urbanization. Urbanization is a process of a refined lifestyle. So what is the trends and patterns of urbanization? So trends and pattern. So pattern of trends kale. So urbanization is a post derivative effect of industrialization. Industrialization no good effect. So these different urban centers have led to a particular kind of a new trend. In urbanization and urban growth. माइक्रो लेवल थाए बड़े बड़े से मैक्रो लेवल को वर्ती करे एवं दैट माइक्रो एंड मैक्रो urbanization sometimes leads to kind of trade. And urbanization across stage, size, class, and settlements. It also tries to underline the problems to calculate growth rate of urban centers. And it leads a particular trend. Every city is known for its own ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଧାରାରେ ଗତି କରେ ଗୋଟେ ଯେକୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ସହର ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ it leads towards a new style. So that is ସେଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ ପ୍ୟାଟର୍ନ ବା ତାକୁ ବହୁ ତାର ଧାରା the population train, ଆମେ କହିବା the moral train of a city, the criminal train of a town. So there are certain cities which moves in a particular train. It sets a pattern. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ educational hub ହେଇଯାଉଛି ଗୋଟେ city, ସେଟାକୁ ତାର educational the city is trending towards a particular educational improvement of the state. So that is a kind of trend. So that is the trend and pattern. Trend setting and pattern setting is important for an urban area. So it is the visionary, it is the town administration, it is the duty of the leaders, it is the duty of administrators to give a particular pattern or setting or train, setting train for a city. So pattern and trend. So census classification. So these trends and pattern of organization, it differs according to the pattern of city, the kinds of city. आमे कहउतले जो urban city ता हमर population भितरी आमे classify कर पाछे class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, class 6 एमती so विभिन्न category of towns and cities अछि एवं सेही the trends and pattern are decided according to these according to the pattern of type of cities. Who city some city train भिन्न भिन्न प्रकार होता है ना. So people having a class 6 रो city जोटा रहिबो less than 5,000 तारो धारा जा रहिबो एक city of class 1 जोडी 1 लाख रु अर्ध लाख बास करजंती तार धारा से रहिबो. So trends and pattern of cities varies from one city to other cities. So these variations are found marked सेटाको हमें ट्रेंड्स बोलिकी कहू. Now the pattern of urbanization हमें कहते the dynamics of urban development. Pattern of urbanization कहले dynamics of urban development, urban changes. What are the that means pattern of urbanization means examining the changes that is found at the different pace of urbanization. Urbanization ना different step रे जो changes हमें मार्क करते सेटा को हमें patterns of urbanization बोली कहते हैं. शहरीकरण रा विभिन्न पेस रे विभिन्न स्तर रे जो सब चेंज गुडा को हमें मार्क करू जो इंप्रूवमेंट हमें मार्क करू जो चेंज को हमें देखू सेटा को एनालाइज करिया को सेटा को पैटर्न बोली कहल जाय. देन ई जो रीजनल पैटर्न्स द प्रेजेंट population census तार ट्रेंड डेवलपमेंट इन द पोस्ट डेवलपमेंट कोन सिटर हला कोन सब चेंजेस हला से गुडा को तार पैटर्न बोली के हमें जदि हमें सेंसर डाटा भितर हमें कैलकुलेट करला डिफरेंट सिटी रो पॉपुलेशन को देन सेंसर डाटा मतलब रिवील करे that the levels of organization in most of the economically developed states were high in post-independence period. Developed states like West Bengal, they had a more per capita income, large percentage of population residing in urban area, economic activities concentrated in cities. So therefore, increasing our town population, density of population increase. Pattern of growth जदि आम देखा ताले सिटी द पैटर्न ऑफ ग्रोथ साधारणतः गोटे ट्रेंड को टाइप रो ग्रोथ गोटे सिटी रो होछि द सिटी रो गोटे ग्रोथ होए से सिटी रो ग्रोथ का कुआड को जाउ समटाइम्स इट इज इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होए बेले बेले तार बेटर सोशल गोटे सिटी अछि तार के सोशल बेटरमेंट गजेसी सोशल वैल्यूज आर प्रिजर्व सिटी लेस चोरी डकैती नाही सेटा गोटे ट्रेंड हला सेटा गोटे ट्रेंड सेटिंग हला दे सिटी गोटे पीसफुल सिटी एटी कौन सी क्राइम नहीं एटी कौन सी डिविजन नहीं कौन सी दंगा नहीं सो दिस द सिटी इज मूविंग टुवर्ड्स ए ट्रेन सेटा मध्ये गोटे ट्रेन रही पड़े आ गोटे सिटी दैट इज वेरी इंडस्ट्रियस ट्रेन people will work more and more the people of the city will be very industrious so सेटा गोटे that trend setting सेटा मध्ये गोटे so then तापर हमें आसीबा the next last हमर chapter that is block 4 block 4 ta basically concerned with the development of urban sociology particularly in India so urban sociology हमें जानते हैं discuss करके what is urban sociology urban sociology is the study of everything that happen in urban areas urban areas रे the urban center बा गोटे city रे जहाँ सब everything that is happened in urban area is also common that is studied by urban sociology. So the changing pattern of kinship, political controversies, educational deprivation of the labor classes, educational opportunities for higher classes. It's whatever changes, the caste conflict, the crime, increasing crime rate, whatever happening in a city, everything has to be what it is सबको अध्ययन करवार काम वाला urban sociology का तेणु ये जो urban sociology का development है basically हम जानते कि urban sociology का development हला कोडी ना in America particularly 20 ରୁ 30 ଭିତରେ 1920 ରୁ 30 ଭିତରେ by basically 1925 1925 रे एक डेवलपमेंट हला urban sociology development हला in America এবং সেই যে urban sociology development हला पर इंडिया रे केमती how is it coming to India केमती इंडिया रे development because you know India has the most ancient civilization in the world the very ancient civilization in the world and the cities the ancient the cities evolved in India prior to 2600 BC ଖ୍ରୀଷ୍ଟପୂର୍ବ 2600 ମସିହା ବେଳକୁ ଏଠି ସବୁଠୁ ପ୍ରାଚୀନତମ ସହର ଥିଲା ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ମହେଞ୍ଜୋଦାରୋ ହରପ୍ପା ଆଉ ମହେଞ୍ଜୋଦାରୋ କିନ୍ତୁ how this the origin of urban sociology was first in Chicago school in America. America ର Chicago school ଟା ଗୋଟେ as a distinct branch of sociology that urban sociology originated in American Chicago school particularly during the decade 20 to 30 and more particularly 1925 जदियो in at about 1892 रे department of urban sociology was established in Chicago school so American sociology a theoretical base for urban sociology evolved from a series of studies conducted by University of Chicago during अनेक गुडी स्टडी कंडक्ट करा गला ऑन सिटीज विभिन्न शहर मानक ऊपर जो स्टडी करा गला 1920 ରୁ 30 जो decade सेठी urban sociology development of urban sociology was much to the famous sociologists Robert E. Park, Louis Wirth, Ernest Burgess, R.D. McGinn. These were otherwise known as Chicago School. एमाने का द्वारा urban sociology development हला এবং एमाने Chicago School भावे परिचित. These were the scholars of Chicago School बोली कहला Chicago University. They were pioneers of this subject. They were these Burgess, R.E. Park, Louis, McGinn. These were the pioneers of Chicago University of the subject of urban sociology. Urban sociology of pioneer in Chicago University. Then the birth of urban sociology as a close association of the expansion of Chicago city. किंतु urban sociology का Chicago city रे काहे केला तार सहित होई तार Chicago city रो विकास सहित urban sociology रो विकास ता जड़ित होई the rapid commercialization of and industrialization of the city occurred in the latter part of the 19th 19th शताब्दी रो शेष बेलकु जेतेबेले rapid industrialization urbanization हला Chicago city रे सेतेबेले there was influx of migrants from that is सब विभिन्न देशरू migrants सब आसे variety of migrants from Sweden, Turkey, Europe, France, German, Czechoslovakia, बहुत सब लोक मैंने आसे एंड ये जो कहलु जेतबेले हेटेरोजेनेटिक पॉपुलेशन आसी जाए सेतबेले टाउनशिप टा कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाए बा मॉडर्न सिटी सेटा हो जाए द सिटी बिकेम मोर एंड मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स एंड इट बिकेम मल्टीकल्चरल it became multicultural multilingual with unequal distribution of wealth. This is the characteristic of a modern city. The multilingual ହେଇଗଲା multicultural ହେଇଗଲା so ଏଇଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ହେଇଗଲା that created complex social organization ଏଇଟା ତ complexity ସୃଷ୍ଟି କଲା ଏବଂ ତାରି ଉପରେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ sociologist ମାନେ ରବର୍ଟ ପାର୍କ ବର୍ଗେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସୋନି ଏମାନେ ସବୁ ତାରି ଉପରେ ଗୋଟେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଷ୍ଟଡି କଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟ କଲେ कि कौन हूँ गोटे ट्रेन कुआड़ जाऊँ अपन एमती कौन गोटे होगा अर्थात पीपुल मैंने आसीगले बाहर देश कौन व्हाट दिस तो पॉपुलेशन ऑफ चिकागो डबल्ड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन रैपिड है विभिन्न देश लोग आसिले काम करने में इन द सोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट पॉपुलेशन ऑफ चिकागो सिटी ऑलमोस्ट डबल विदिन अ वेरी फ्यू इयर्स कम दिन भीतर एट विदिन ओनली 30 years population has already double This rapid growth, accompanied by changes in the distribution of the city, population expand large areas, certain sections of the city grows more rapidly than others. It rapid growth, it also parts of the world became famous for the Chicago sociology. Age of rapid growth, age of complexity of organization, congregation of people of multicultural, multilingual people, it became a very focus of the study of Chicago sociology. Data, the Chicago sociologist mangra would a focus of study. That is the main focus of the study of the Chicago sociology. So, semana emane kon kale Chicago school semane duita aspect upare basic gurutwa dei padle. Gote hela the spatial pattern of the city and the cultural life. Eta upare gurutwa dei Chicago school adhyan kariyaku lagile. Then जो है स्पैटियल पैटर्न का जे कट सिटी दा स्पैटियल पैटर्न दा केमती स्पैटियल पैटर्न कहले कोन एडा टोपोग्राफी ऑफ द लोकल कम्युनिटी एंड द फिजिकल अरेंजमेंट से सिटी दा टोपोग्राफी फिजिकल अरेंजमेंट केमती कोन होची सेटा को माने स्टडी करले एंड इनक्लूड करा स्पेस एंड स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पीपल शेल्टर्ड इनहैबिटेंट्स प्लेस ऑफ वर्क प्लेस ऑफ प्ले ए सब को से माने अध्ययन कर ऑल दिस कंसिडर एज स्पैटियल pattern of the city. Then another cultural life of people, the modes of living, the customs, the moral values, the ecological studies. The University of Chicago studies emerged from a concern about the social problems of the city. ये जो चिकागो स्कूल से समय कम्प्लेक्सिटी देखा गला सोसाइटी हेटेरोजेनस पॉपुलेशन है मल्टीलिंगुअल मल्टीकल्चरल लोक मैंने आसले विभिन्न प्रकार सोशल प्रॉब्लम क्रॉप अप कला तेणु से मल्टीपल सोशल प्रॉब्लम जो क्रॉप अप कला ताको नेबा पाई ताके देखिया पाई ए माने विभिन्न प्रकार स्टडी कंडक्ट करले ताको जानिया पाई तार सॉल्व करिया पाई कैन इफ यू डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम यू डू नॉट स्टडी द प्रॉब्लम यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड माने मेक ए analysis of the problem or not, you can solve the problems. So that's why they conduct various kind of study. So, and during those days, the different kinds of social pathology like crime, suicide rate, prostitution, so these are sociologists like Robert E. Park, Borges, McZoni, Emmanuel social problems kind of all of a sudden are found in a growing city like Chicago, observe as a result, the urban sociology as a new branch of sociology coming to build in this Chicago University, forming a Chicago School of Urban Sociology. Then, studies on human ecology. Studies in urban or human ecology. Ecology, you know. Ecology is a science that studies the interrelationship between organism and their environment. Ecology को होती विज्ञान साइंस का विज्ञान जाकि मनुष्य आउ तार परिवेश भितर अंतर संपर्क को अध्ययन करे तो ह्यूमन इकोलॉजी इन is necessary to know human ecology of urban area because unless and until we understand the human ecology we can't understand a town or urban area in its truest sense. So that's why they conduct the theory of human ecology. So the human ecology of a theory developed kala. It is it was a first systematic theory about city. So different scholar mane say human ecology को जानिया पे urban center रो they develop a very systematic theory and that human ecology theory is considered as the first systematic theory of urban sociology. ताको हमें पढ़ता हो. So the human ecology was concerned with the specific theoretical problem of how human population adapted to their environment. You know, जो human ecology का से तो concerned हुए basically इधर अध्ययन करे कौन ना the how human population किभली मनुष्य माने समग्र urban environment सहित निजको खाप करते सेटा को हमें human ecology बोली कहू. How the people accommodate to their urban environment. So Robert E. Park says human ecology is a perspective, a method or body of knowledge. Human ecology is a perspective, a method or a body of knowledge essential for the scientific study of social life. Scientific study of social life in urban center. Urban center रे बा शहर रा social life सामाजिक जीवन को संपूर्ण अध्ययन करिवार जो प्रक्रिया को हमें human ecology माध्यम अध्ययन करिथाउ. That is through human ecology. The ecological approach assumes the significant place in urban study. So ecological approach urban sociology is सबुठु गोटे गुरुत्वपूर्ण approach भाबे परिगणित. So the Robert E. Park, Adam McGoney and Burgess they attempted to relate ethnographic characteristics of urban life to the spatial distribution of urban population. Ethnographic studies सहित urban population ना spatial distribution को से जोड़िया को चेष्टा करी ताको analyze करने चाहिए. And Burgess treated the growth of the city in terms of physical expansion. From Burgess city को कमती देखुले and in the form of its physical expansion. City दा शारीरिक बहुत जो भौगोलिक भौतिक expansion जो होगा संपर्कन होगा से भितरे differentiation in space से भितरे से को आलोचना करने जाऊँ. So urban sociology is based upon identifying and mapping of geographical sectors of a large land area and then analyzing social phenomena which are peculiar to the various smaller areas. So social phenomena are peculiar to different areas of the city. Social phenomena are peculiar cities that are. So human ecology का कौन करेगा ना तो identify करेगा mapping करेगा विभिन्न geographical sector है केंद्री specific kind of social phenomena the problem crop up होती सेटा को सुनने आलोचना करें. So there are various ecological studies to produce a composite overview of a group tendencies and a specific group tendencies. It has an overview of ecological study what are various group what are tendencies of what are the tendencies and trends of that group. So there are various ecological models that attempt to analyze urban social structure. So Sahara urban social structure को analyze करिया गुड़े अनेक गुड़े model ecological model सब अच्छे है ना. So ecological model is spatial, natural, social and economic. There was spatial model, natural model, social model, economic model. All these models usually employs area topology, which is shown as maps. Each method also employs a different theoretical orientation. प्रत्येक method रा गुड़े different सैद्धांतिक orientation रहता है, resulting in different explanation of social processes. And given the different theory, different kind of explanation देता है. तो हमें से जो विभिन्न प्रकार theory human ecology पर आती है, ताकि हमें बताओ है. और first होगी Robert human ecology theory of Robert E. Park. तो पार्क कोई भी ह्यूमन इकोलॉजी पर स्टडी करिया पे बेसिकली पार्क मैकगोनी ये माने सब बर्गेस ये माने सब चले तेनो विथ लुइस विथ. तो हमें बोलते हैं रॉबर्ट ई पार्क वो एप्रोप्रिएटेड द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल साइंस फॉर द एनालिसिस ऑफ अर्बन स्पेस. तेनो अर्बन स्पेस को अध्ययन करिया पे से माने ये जो नेचुरल साइंस का इकोलॉजी रा व्यवहार करते हैं. तो तेनो तंका पार्क का मतलब है Ecology hochi that place of biology. Ecology hochi that place of biology. Ecology considers plants and animals as they exist in the nature and studies their interdependence and relation of kind of individual and to the environment. Park matere ecology hochi consider करे plant animals as they exist in nature. प्रकृति रे plant और animal जेमते exist करछन्ती ता सहित deal करे विचार करे and studies their interdependence एवं plant animal और environment एंकर interdependence अंतर निर्भरशीलता को अध्ययन करे एवं relation to each individual to each environment एवं प्रत्येक व्यक्तिर परिवेश सहित की संपर्क रहिछि ताक मध्य आलोचना करे. So Park observed that a correspondence between plant communities in the natural environment and emergence of a natural area within the cities were similar societal constitution of urban environment. So urban बा शहर परिवेश को ए जो विभिन्न plant communities natural environment ए सब को अध्ययन माध्यम रे अध्ययन करा जाई पारे. So urban environment can be broken down into a mosaic of social world where each section is structural and culturally distinct from each other. एवं ए सब गुडा जो गोटे अर्बन एनवायरनमेंट को हमें ब्रोकन करी अनेक मोजाइक छोट छोट मोजाइक सोशल वर्ल्ड रे परिणत करि परिबा एवं पूर्ण मध्य सेम टाइम दे आर टाइम ऑफ इंटरटेनमेंट ऑन ईच अदर एवं सेही प्रत्येक मोजाइक गुडा को परस्पर ऊपर मध्य निर्भरशील. So Park's theory of human ecology drawn from Durkheim and Durkheim division of labor and Darwin's theory of evolution. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. The Parker theory, Parker a human ecology theory ता मुख्यतः Durkheim division of labor एवं Darwin evolution सिद्धांत ता विवर्तन मतवाद उपरे पर्यवेक्षित. So Durkheim's argument that the aggregation of a large number of people is concentrated settlements required a complex division of labor. And his observation that societies required a complex division of labor and a reintegration of specialized urbanites into a complementary form. Urbanite मानकर integration आवश्यक उपरे division of labor जोर देछन्ति के Durkheim. So Darwin's understanding of how competition produced pattern of dominance and subordination among the elements of society also contributed to the development of theory of human ecology. जो competition एवं cooperation, competition produced a pattern of dominance. जेतु चार्ल्स डार्विन तंकर competition survival of the fittest एसो विचार कहितले तेणु से कहउछन्ति प्रतियोगिता प्रोड्यूस करिबा गोटे पैटर्न ऑफ डोमिनेंस गोटे डोमिनेंस बा प्रभाव रो गोटे पैटर्न बा पद्धति गोटे प्रोड्यूस करे एवं सेटा एंड सबऑर्डिनेशन गोटे डोमिनेंस प्रोसेस करे सबऑर्डिनेशन मध्ये करे एवं सोसाइटी रो विभिन्न एलिमेंट मान को भितरे जोटा कि ह्यूमन इकोलॉजी रो थ्योरी को विकास करबारे सहायता करे. से बड़ी दर्शन का थ्योरी डिवीजन लेवल भितरे पार्क आर्ग्यू कले the increase in population size within a given area together with an extension of transport and communication network result in greater specialization of functions. Specialization का केमती हबो से कहउछन्ति जे जदी जेमति दर्शन को डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर माध्यम रे ऑटोमेटिक स्पेशलाइजेशन आइ कि जीवो सेमति कहउछन्ति पॉपुलेशन साइज तो इंक्रीज करबो सेटा मध्ये एक्सटेंशन ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट कम्युनिकेशन हबो सेटा मध्ये स्पेशलाइजेशन सृष्टि करबो इन the competition between individual park matare gives rise to relations of competitive cooperation. Park कहउछन्ति जे व्यक्ति मानक भितरे जो कंपटीशन बा प्रतियोगिता हबो ताहा गोटे लोक मानक भितरे कोन करबो ना गोटे कॉम्पिटिटिव कोऑपरेशन प्रतियोगिता पूर्ण सहयोग प्रत्येक हमर परस्पर प्रतियोगी एवं प्रतियोगी होई परस्पर आमे आगु को जीवा पई हमको परस्पर सहित कोऑपरेशन करिया पड़ो अन्य सहित सहयोग करिया पड़ो ना तेणु सेठी कॉम्पिटिटिव कोऑपरेशन कथा से कहउछन्ति एवं ए जो कॉम्पिटिटिव कोऑपरेशन असले कम्युनल इक्विलिब्रियम हबो कम्युनल इक्विलिब्रियम आसे देन कम्युनल इक्विलिब्रियम आसे पई ए जो कॉम्पिटिटिव कोऑपरेशन इज एसेंशियल बोली से मत देन तापरे urbanism as a way of life. Then Louis Rich एटा गला ह्यूमन इकोलॉजी थ्योरी ऑफ रॉबर्ट पार्क तापरे हम देखिबा द लुइस रिच थ्योरी urbanism थ्योरी बा urbanism as a way of life. Robert Weir consider urbanism as a way of life. Urbanism को से एक way of life বা জীবন শৈলীর এক ধাঁচা ভাবে বিচার করতে के আমরা Robert Weir তাঙ্কা theory, his theory is known as Rich theory, urbanism as a way of life. The urbanism theory of Rich, the urbanism as a way of life. So sociologists working in the first of the 20th century theories of city like emphasize the alienating aspect of urban environment. Urban environment is the alienating aspect. Operation good correct. The alienating aspect of the environment, or to put it otherwise, the opposition between community and the city life. So there is always a contradiction, opposition. City life गोटे प्रकार हबो, community life गोटे प्रकार एवं city life गोटे. So there is a opposition between community life and city life. ये जो द्वंद्व हला ता भीतर गोटे alienation होती, that creates some kind of alienation. That create a kinds of alienation एवं से alienation, that alienation marks a kind of detachment among the urban people. It has to lay stress on the social aspect of urbanism. You know, Reith कहउछंती जो urbanism हम जो बोलते शहरीवादर social aspect ऊपर गुरुत्व देने के Robert is the first to give stress on the social aspect of urbanism. Social aspect of urbanism ये urbanism जब वो होती शहर होता है तो यार वो social aspect है. And she discovered the form of social action organization that typically emerge in relative permanent contact settlement of large number of heterogeneous individuals. You know, जो social form और जो social actions जो सृष्टि हुई शहर में करे बेटा वो होती social aspect of और urbanism बोली से कोई नहीं. तंका theory अनुसार तंका according to this rich theory of urbanism believe that the larger the denser and the more heterogeneous the population of an area, the more urbanized will be the lifestyle of people. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ସହର ଅଧିକ ଘନତ୍ୱ ବିଶିଷ୍ଟ ହେବ ବା ଯେତେ ଡେନ୍ସିଟି ଅଧିକ ହେବ ଏବଂ ହେଟ୍ରୋଜିନସ୍ ପପୁଲେସନ୍ ହେବ ଏବଂ ଗୋଟେ ସହରରେ ପପୁଲେସନ୍ ଏଇ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାରର ସବୁ ଧର୍ମର ସବୁ ରଙ୍ଗର ସବୁ ପ୍ରଜାତିର ଲୋକମାନେ ଏକାଠି ବାସ କରୁଥିବେ ଏବଂ ସେତେବେଳେ ଏଇ ସହରଟା ଅଧିକ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ୍ ହେବ. ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ସବୁଠୁ ଆମେ ଭଲ ଇଂଲଣ୍ଡ, ୱାଶିଂଟନ ଡିସି, ପ୍ୟାରିସ ଏଠି ସବୁ ଅଧିକ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କାହିଁ କହୁଛେ ମାନେ ସେଠି ୱାର୍ଲଡ ଓଭର ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଏ କସ୍ମୋପଲିଟାନ୍ ସିଟି ବୋଲି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ. ତେଣୁ ସେଟା ଅଧିକ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ହେଲା. ଯୋଉଟା ରିଟ୍ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ସହରରେ ଅଧିକ ହେଟ୍ରୋଜିନସ୍ ହେବ, ଗୋଟେ ସହରରେ ମଲ୍ଟିପଲ heterogeneous population, people of all multiculturalism ଆସିଯିବ ଗୋଟେ ସହର ଭିତରକୁ ସେତେବେଳେ ସେଇ ସହରଟା ଅଧିକ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ହେଇଗଲା ବୋଲି ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ହେଇଯିବ ଏବଂ ଲାଇଫଷ୍ଟାଇଲ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେଇ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଅଧିକ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜ ହବ. ତେଣୁ the principal element of urbanization according to Harith are the population size, population density and population heterogeneity. Size ବଡ଼ ହବ, population density ଅଧିକ ହେବ ଏବଂ heterogeneity ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଧିକ ହେବ. And it is the principal element of urbanism. And that leads to a new style of life and more urbanized style of life. And Louis Smith analyzes the city as a permanent settlement of human population of high density with a sufficient high degree of heterogeneity result in the emergence of new culture. एगुड़ा खाला तरे कोन हबो रिथ कहउछथि गुडे नुवा प्रकार urban culture सृष्टि एवं जोटा कि characterized by transition from primary to secondary relation. ये जो नुआ कल्चर देखा जिवो सेठी हेटेरोजेनस हे जिवो सेतले प्राइमरी कल्चर रु आणि सेकेंडरी कल्चर आडकू कल्चर सबु देखा जाबो. That primary to secondary culture will be shown. So this is a primary or secondary culture देखा जिवो relations, segmentation, anonymity, isolation, instrumental relation. Instrumental relation कहले the relation of only motive भित्तिक relation ए सबु देखा जाबो. Absence of direct social control, diversity, transiency of social commitment रहबोनी, lessening of family ties, परिवार र बंधन reducing हे जीवो, individualistic competition बा व्यक्तिवाद र विकास घटिबो. ए जो social cultural context which is the ultimate explanation of the new form of human behavior. এই প্রকার নূতন প্রকার human behavior দেখা যাবো in that form. এই ফর্মে নূতন প্রকার দেখা যাবে. Then his idea that the social organization of a large human settlement or urban area makes a lifestyle based on primary relationship very difficult. এইଭଳି ସେତେବେଳେ ସହରଟା ଏଇଭଳି ହେଇଯିବ ସେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରାଇମେରୀ ରିଲେସନସିପ କି ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠା କରିବା କଷ୍ଟକର ହେଇପଡ଼ିବ. establish the primary relationship will be difficult. କଷ୍ଟକର ହେଇପଡ଼ିବ primary relationship କରିବ. Typically, urbanites meet one another in highly segmented roles. ତେଣୁ urbanites ଭିତରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ମିଟିଂ ହୁଏ ସେତେବେଳେ ପରସ୍ପର ସହିତ ଗୋଟେ ଆନ୍ତରିକତା ନଥାଏ, ସେମାନେ ହାଇଲି ସେଗମେଣ୍ଟେଡ ରୋଲରେ ପରସ୍ପର ସହିତ they encounter tend frequently to be limited to situations. ତାଙ୍କର ରିଲେସନସିପଟା ଗୋଟେ ସେଇ ସିଚୁଏସନ ସହିତ ସୀମିତ ରହିଯାଏ, ତା ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀକୁ ଯାଏ ନାହିଁ, which involves a specialized limited aspect of person's total spectrum of roles. ତେଣୁ ସାମୁଦାୟିକ ଭୂମିକା ସମ୍ପାଦନ କରି ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସେଗମେଣ୍ଟେଡ ରୋଲ ପ୍ଲେ କରନ୍ତି. ଏହି ରୋଲ ଫ୍ରାଗମେଣ୍ଟେସନ, ଲିମିଟେଡ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ ଏବଂ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ରୋଲ୍ସ causes a kind of alienation. এটা ହବ କ'ଣ ଲୋକଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ alienation ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବ, ଗୋଟେ ବିଚ୍ୟୁତି ଭାବ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବ, ବା ନିଜକୁ ସେଥିରୁ ଅଲଗା କରିବାର ଗୋଟେ ଭାବ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବ. Then the population density of the crowded physical space of the urban areas also affect both the frequency and quality of human interaction. ରିଟ୍ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି urbanism way of life କେମିତି ହବ ନା ଯେତେବେଳେ population density ଅଧିକ ହେଇଯିବ ଆଉ the crowded physical space ବା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଜନଗହଳିପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଅଞ୍ଚଳ ସବୁବେଳେ ରହିବ ସେଥିରେ urban ଏରିଆରେ ଏଇଟା କ'ଣ କରିବ ନା frequency and quality of human interaction quality and frequency ସାମାଜିକ human interaction ମାନବୀୟ ଅନ୍ତର୍କ୍ରିୟାର କ୍ୱାଲିଟି ଗୁଣକୁ ପ୍ରଭାବିତ କରିବ. ମାନବୀୟ ଯୋଉ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହବ କିନ୍ତୁ ତାର ଗୁଣାତ୍ମକ ରହିବନି, ତା ଦେହରେ ଫେଲୋ ଫିଲିଂ ରହିବନି, ତା ଦେହରେ ଆନ୍ତରିକତା ରହିବନି. ହ୍ୟୁମାନ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହବ କିନ୍ତୁ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନଟା ଆଉ ହ୍ୟୁମାନଲି ହବନି, ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଆୟାରାମ ଗୟାରାମ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହବ. ଆଉ କ'ଣ ହବ ନା that will affect both the frequency, interaction frequency ଟା ମଧ୍ୟ କମିଯିବ, ବାରମ୍ବାରତା ମଧ୍ୟ କମିଯିବ. it will be very artificial or very limited ହିସାବରେ ରହିବ. So it actually means the social density and density of social interaction এই দুইটাক ମଧ୍ୟ affected ହବ ତା ଦ୍ୱାରା. The diverse nature of cities in terms of ethnicity, culture, social structure and general lifestyle gives to a heterogeneous nature. এই ସବୁ ଯୋଉ multiplicity ଦେଖିଯିବ, diverse nature, ethnicity, diverse culture, diverse religion, diverse language, এই ସବୁ ହେଇଗଲେ ଗୋଟେ heterogeneous ସହରର ପ୍ରକୃତିକୁ it gives a heterogeneous nature. ଏଇଟା ତାର ଗୋଟେ heterogeneous nature produce କରିବ କାହାକୁ ସହରକୁ ଦେବ. ତେଣୁ as a result the urban area became a heterogeneous in nature. এটা কହୁଛନ୍ତି କି Louis Smith. ତେଣୁ urbanism though it is became a compulsion on our way of life, but still it also became a heterogeneous and alienated kind of relationship will develop among the urbanites. Then the ecological process of maximum. So after the ପଢିଲେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଲୁଇସ୍ ରିଥ୍ଙ୍କ theory of urbanism as a way of life ଏବଂ ଆମର ଅନ୍ତର ପଢିଲେ ତାର ରିଥ୍ଙ୍କର, ଏବଂ ତାପରେ ଆମେ ପଢିଲେ ଯୋଉ ଆମର ପାର୍କର ଆରି ପାର୍କଙ୍କର theory. ତାପରେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ପଢିବା ମ୍ୟାକଜୋନିଙ୍କର ମ୍ୟାକେଞ୍ଜି ତାଙ୍କର ଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ପ୍ରୋସେସେସ୍, ତାଙ୍କର ମ୍ୟାକଲୋଜି ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ ଗୋଟେ theory ଦେଲେ ଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ theory which is known as the theory of community change. Theory of ecological process, the theory of community change. Theory of community change. So the theory of community change was most explicitly set out by Parks College at the University of Chicago. ମ୍ୟାକଜୋନି ଥିଲେ ପାର୍କଙ୍କର ଜଣେ କଲିଗ ଚିକାଗୋରେ. He focused on the dynamic nature of urban area and developed a sociological theory of changing land use. So ଗୋଟେ sociological theory of changing land use use kale, and he developed a typology of various ecological processes instead of focusing on configuration shape of areas. He defined ecology as a study of spatial and temporal relation of human beings. ଗୋଟେ spatial or temporal relations को study करे बोली that affect the selective and distributive accommodative forces of the environment. बोली ମ୍ୟାକଜୋନି କହିଲେ. So to ecology, society is made up of individual spatially separated. The ecologist माने कहउछन सोसाइटी कागु नै गठित सही व्यक्ति मान जो माने spatially separated, territorially distinct and capable of independent locomotion. ये बड़ी गोटे नहीं की सोसाइटी करता. McKenzie argues that these special relationship of human beings are the product of competition and selection and are continuously in the process of changing new factors. एटा गोटे competition और selection basis रे जब एवं सेतरे continuous change मार्क होतिबो right. Then he identified 7 ecological processes. Okay, McKenzie have identified 7 ecological processes which incorporate notions of population shift and changes in the dominant land pattern. जोटा करे से केते गुडे इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस जोटा कि हमर अर्बन लाइफ को गवर्न करे से सातटा इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस कथा कहले सेगुडा कोची कोन ना कंसंट्रेशन, डीकंसंट्रेशन, सेंट्रलाइजेशन, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, एग्रीगेशन, इन्वेशन एंड सक्सेशन. इन्वेशन, सक्सेशन, सेग्रीगेशन, सेंट्रलाइजेशन एगुडा विषय सब हमें आगु पढी छे. कंसंट्रेशन ए विषय हमें पढी छे. तो सेही सेवरल सातटा इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेसेस कथा कहउछंदी से कहउछंदी जे इन अर्बन सोशल लाइफ गोटे अर्बन शहर रे बा अर्बन सेंटर रे ए सात प्रकार सोशियोलॉजिकल इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेसेस आर वर्क करे कार्य करे. So it distinguishes on that basis of that these ecological processes. McKenzie distinguishes 4 types of communities based on their functions. प्रकार जो ऊपर बेस करेगी से कम्युनिटी को डिस्टिंग्विश करे 4 टाइप ऑफ कम्युनिटीज को डिस्क्राइब करे. गोटे प्राइमरी सर्विस कम्युनिटी, तापर कमर्शियल सर्विस कम्युनिटी और इंडस्ट्रियल टाउन और कम्युनिटी विथ स्पेसिफिक इकोनॉमिक बेस. कथा कहले कि चारि प्रकार कम्युनिटी भीतर देखा गले से तांको थ्योरी रे कहउछंती जे चारि प्रकार कम्युनिटी देखा जाउची. गोटे प्रथम होची प्राइमरी सर्विस कम्युनिटी. गोटे कम्युनिटी रो साइज टा ह्यूमन कम्युनिटी रो साइज केमिति लिमिटेड सीमित हुए ना it can produce and by the efficiency of its mode of distribution. Community by what it can produce कोन एटा उत्पादन कर परिबो एवं by the efficiency of its mode of distribution ए बेसिस रे the size of a human community limited is. It means the primary service community जोटा कि based on agriculture cannot grow beyond a population around गोटे primary community service एरा गोटे निर्दिष्ट सीमित आकार अछि ता बियॉन्ड से बढ़ी पाइ पारे जदि बढ़ला सेटा ब्याज होई आ गोटे प्राइमरी कम्युनिटी एइ तेनु according to him that particular type of community tended to increase in size until it reached the climax. ए पर्यंत यार क्लाइमैक्स को पहुंचनी से पर्यंत सेटा बॉडी गुडी के चलतिबो एवं चेंज होई के चलतिबो. जोडी क्लाइमैक्स रे पहुंची जिवो the size of population was not perfectly adjusted to the capacity of the economic base supported. That is, size of population the economic base with the capacity to support no kar paribo, then the community will remain the stage of equilibrium. For equilibrium stage re the then another theory was given by the Duncan, ecological theory of Duncan. Duncan, another sociologist, Duncan and Hurley. Duncan integrates ecological models and structures of functionalism of carpet person in developing his theory of ecological complex. Duncan का theory टाकू हमें कौन को ना theory of ecological complex. Ecological complex बोले हमें कहो. कहेंगे ना Duncan developed the notion of ecological complex, which is also a theory of regulation and change of community at a social system. But is community का change हो कहीं चेंज होती ना बिकॉज जेतबेले कॉम्प्लेक्स हे जाउची सेठी सेतबेले चेंज होती. तेनो डनकन से थेन गोटे तांकर थ्योरी इज नोन एज थ्योरी ऑफ द नोशन ऑफ इकोलॉजिकल कॉम्प्लेक्स. The system of interaction of the components of elements of ecological complex, the environment, population, technology, and social organization. ये चारोटी elements को ताक बोले ये चारों भीतर जेतबेले relationship का interaction का अधिक complex है जो सेतबेले सोसाइटी में अर्बन सोसाइटी complex है. तेणु से तांकर फोकस देले मोस्टली ऑन functional differentiation functional differentiation and adaptation of human population. Functional differentiation एवं adaptation of human population. ମାନବୀୟ ଜନସଂଖ୍ୟାର ଖାପ ଖାଇବା ଏବଂ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟେସନ ଫଙ୍କସନାଲ ଏବଂ ପ୍ରକାର୍ଯ୍ୟତ୍ମକ ଦୃଷ୍ଟିରୁ ପରସ୍ପର ଅଲଗା ହେଇଯିବା ଏହି ଭିତ୍ତି ଉପରେ ତାଙ୍କର ତିନିଟା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟବେସିତ ଥିଲା। ତେଣୁ ଡନକନଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ theory of ecological complexes ସେଇଟା almost similar to the Talcott-Parsons theory of functionalism। ତେଣୁ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ functional needs basis ରେ each society ecological function କାମ କରେ। Then another concept that is the approach that is developed by urban sociologists is known as design approach। इनको design approach बोली कहते हैं। So design approach is closely related to architecture of a city। गोटे सिटी सहरटा को आम गोटे आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन भीतर देख पारिबा। प्रति एवरी स्ट्रक्चर एवरी सिटी हैज इट्स ओन आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन। तुम देखिबो दैट प्राय गोटे गोटे सिटी रे गोटे निर्दिष्ट प्रकार गोटे सिटी आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन follows a particular pattern or निर्दिष्ट प्रकार आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन होउछि। सेटा डील्स विथ द प्लान ऑफ ए सिटी एंड इट्स वेरियस कंपोनेंट्स। एटा केमती कहा पर डील करबे जो आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन रे प्रत्येक सिटी जेमती हम कहबा भुवनेश्वर हैव ए वन डिजाइन। तुम देखिबो जो सब विभिन्न सिटी सब भुवनेश्वर ए विभिन्न लाइन गड़ी देखि से नगर ए जेमती सेटा गोटे प्लान हिसाब रे। सो प्लान तार वेरियस कंपोनेंट्स ए सब को तार आर्किटेक्चरल डिजाइन बोली कहल जाय। So it traces the aesthetic principles that guided the layout of the street patterns। street pattern केमती हबो केमती हाउसिंग पैटर्न केमती हबो कोडी कोडी हाउस रहबो तार रोड डिजाइन केमती ए सब को हमें डिजाइन अप्रोच बोली कहल जाय। शहर डिजाइन अप्रोच बोली कहल जाय। Then all these ecological theories has been criticized from different angles। अनेक दृष्टिରୁ ए सब ई थ्योरी गुडा सब समालोचित होईछि। ये थ्योरी the size density and heterogeneity also became a point of criticism। जो ये ecological theory ता बेसी गुरुत्व देछि का उपरे size density and heterogeneity अनेक ताकु मध्य क्रिटिसाइज करछन्ती डिफरेंट एंगल। जे केवल साइज डेंसिटी आ ये को कहि नै करी हम गोटे शहर को बुझ परिबा सहज नै। देन इकोनॉमिक कंपटीशन आउ केते को इकोनॉमिक कंपटीशन गुरुत्व देछन्ती। इकोनॉमिक इज द बेसिस ऑफ जनरल ग्रोथ। केते को इकोलॉजिकल थ्योरी कहउछन्ती जे इकोनॉमिक कंपटीशन भितरे गोटे सिटी रो ग्रोथ होय। आउ केते को ताको क्रिटिसाइज करछन्ती दैट दिस द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ फंक्शनल डिफरेंशिएशन सोसाइटी का फंक्शनल डिफरेंशिएशन बेसिला ताले इकोनॉमिक डिफरेंस ऑर्डरिंग ऑफ अर्बन स्पेस का जो इकोनॉमिक डिफरेंशिएशन डिफरेंट हबो ताले केमती सेटा इकोनॉमिक कंपटीशन में ग्रो करबो। केमती डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म वर देयर लेवल नेचर। देन अनदर इज दैट so these are the different kinds of criticism that was leveled against the different ecological theories। Political economy of urbanism। Urbanism ra gote political economy। What is the political economy of urbanism? So the urban analysis of Rex and Murray developed a new sociological approach to the analysis of the city। urban जो political economy को बुझिया पई the urban analysis of Rex and Murray developed a new sociological approach to the analysis of the city। They studied the housing and the race relation of the inner city area of a British city। तो ब्रिटिश शहर गोटे हाउसिंग आउ रेस रिलेशन को अध्ययन कले। इन दिस दे डेवलप्ड ए theoretical framework which represented a fusion between Burgess theoretical framework, Burgess work on zone transition and Weber's sociological emphasis on meaningful action of individuals। ए दुटा भितरे से गोटे थ्योरी देले एवं दिस अप्रोच enabled urban sociology to retain a distinctive concern with the spatial dimension of social relation। करबे को साध्य करा। तेनु पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी ऑफ कहले दैट Rex and Murray moving to suburbs is an aspiration that is general among all group of residents. Although that is जैसे कहते हैं कि रेक्स का मतलब political economy कहते हैं, political economy अब होती रेक्स कहते हैं कि moving to suburbs माने city रा suburb शहर तली अंचल को पड़ेगा aspiration that is general among all group of residents. सब ग्रुप ऑफ रेसिडेंट्स रा ट्रेंड होची कि जेतबे सिटी टा कॉम्प्लेक्स हे जीवो एवं जाम हे जीवो तो सबर्ब एरिया को चली जीवा बा सिटी रा फ्री एरिया को चली जीवा एटा जनरल ट्रेंड तेणु ए डिजायर्ड रिसोर्स ऑफ सर्बन हाउसिंग is a scarce access to the distributed among the population. Therefore, the allocation of suburban houses to different sections of population became crucial to understand the distribution of changes in the city. तेणु से जो सहर रे जो बंटन आमे अर्बन सबर्ब अंचल को शिफ्ट करबार गोटे टेंडेंसी सबले रहउछि दैट इज अर्बानिज्म रो वे ऑफ लाइफ दैट इज ए पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी ऑफ अर्बानिज्म अर्बानिज्म रो पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी लोक माने फॉर टू इकोनॉमिक रीजन रो माने सबर को जानिबे तेणु ए जो चिकागो स्कूल तांकर स्टडी रे से मदाई spread other continent also towards the end of 1960 and 1960 a new paradigm of urban analysis emerged where emerging body of theories based on assumption that conflict not equilibrium as responded by the ecologists is the center of social order conflict not equilibrium सेटा ही कहउचंती जे ए जो देला जे conflict होची equilibrium नुहे शहर भीतर equilibrium में बरं conflict होची is the center of social order प्रत्येक शहर social order center केंद्र बोली कहते the new approach focused on the role of capitalism the political economy of urbanism एटा फोकस करे का परे role of capitalism पूंजीवादर भूमिका उपरे and the international economic order the accumulation and concentration of wealth and power kept wealth power accumulate करा जिवो the relation of social classes social class मान with कौन relation होबो and the role of state in administrating a stable social order एवं गोटे स्टेबल सोशल ऑर्डर शहर रे प्रतिष्ठा करला जे ओडिया सोशल ऑर्डर सामाजिक क्रमटा केमते डिस्टर्ब न हो डिस्टेबल कंटिन्यू या ऊपर मध्य से माने गुरुत्व देले एवं गिव्स स्पेस अल्टीमेटली हॉस्पिटेबल टू इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट एवं इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट ऊपर एक्सिस्टेड द अर्बन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर टेंड टू बी एनालाइज्ड इन द बैकड्रॉप ऑफ मार्क्सियन थ्योरी ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल मैटेरियलिज्म मार्क्सियन थ्योरी ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल मैटेरियलिज्म तेणु ये जो पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी अर्बानिज्म कहूँ जे द अर्बन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर बुझिया पई हेले आमे तार पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमी को बुझिया को पड़बो एवं से जो अर्बन स्ट्रक्चर टू एनालाइज इन द बैकड्रॉप मार्क्सियन थ्योरी ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल मैटेरियलिज्म आमे ताको बुझिया पहले मार्क्स कार्ल मार्क्स पर जो थ्योरी ऑफ मैटेरियलिज्म अछि से हिस्टोरिकल मैटेरियलिज्म भितरे हम ताको एनालाइज करबा kana cities का हम जानि छे the city always symbolize the inequality of wealth and power generated by the profit system and the special expression of an area तेणु city टा सब बळे ता द्वारा कैरेक्टराइज्ड हुए symbolize inequality of wealth पूंजी बा धनर असमानता सब रहता है तेणु how to make it control तेणु यदि सिटी का सौंदर्यता को हम रक्षा करबो हमको ताको एक स्टेबल ऑर्डर मेंटेन करबो पड़ो how this can be maintained at least in the समान it is not equalized but ताको मेंटेन करबो पड़ो to symbolize the inequalities it symbolizes the inequalities of wealth how here वो असमानता रही ताको देखिकरी हमें सिटी को बुझाबो पड़ो तो सेति पई से जो जनरेट कले द ट्रैफिक सिस्टम अर्बन एरिया in terms of capital accumulation and class conflict capital accumulation of class conflict political economy of urbanism ये approach को political economy of urbanism बोली कहले so political economy of urbanism means it is an approach to understand the city life को बा urban city structure को urban social structure बुझिया पई हेले ତା ଭିତରେ ସେଠି ସବୁବେଳେ urban symbolize the inequalities of wealth and power generated by the profit system ତେଣୁ ସେଇଟାକୁ ସେଇ ଆପ୍ରୋଚଟାକୁ ଆମେ political economy of urbanism ବୋଲି କହୁ and political economy guides researchers to know about the ways in which policy has articulated with economic forces to produce particular kind of urban environment ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଏଇ ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଇକୋନୋମି ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ଗାଇଡ୍ କରୁ ଏଇଟା ଆମକୁ ଗାଇଡ୍ କରେ କ'ଣ ଯେକୌଣସି ଅର୍ବାନ ସୋସାଇଟି ଉପରେ ଯେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ about how କେମିତି ଆର୍ଟିକୁଲେଟ୍ କରାଯାଇପାରିବ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଫୋର୍ସେସ୍ ଟୁ ପ୍ରଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ particular kind of urban environment with the particular cost and benefit for different elements of urban population ତେଣୁ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସଟେନସନ୍ ଅଫ୍ ବ୍ରଡର sociological theory to the analysis of urban space. Political economic paradigm developed in an alternative to urban ecology and became an influential approach in 1970s. ତେଣୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ଗୋଟେ ହଉଥିଲା ବୁଝିବା ପାଇଁ ଏ ସହରକୁ ବୁଝିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ବୁଝିପାରିବା ତା ବଦଳରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ନୂଆ ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ଆସିଲା ସେଟା କୁହାଗଲା ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଇକୋନୋମି ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ତ ସହରର ଯୋଉ ସହରଟା ବେସିକାଲି ଯୋଉ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଇକ୍ୱାଲିଟି ରହୁଛି ତାକୁ ସେଇ ଆପ୍ରୋଚଟାକୁ ଆମେ କେମିତି ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ସିଷ୍ଟମଟାକୁ ମ୍ୟାନେଜ କରିବା ଏବଂ ଅର୍ବାନ ଏନଭାରମେଣ୍ଟଟାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଉତ୍ତମ ଅର୍ବାନ ଏନଭାରମେଣ୍ଟ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିପାରିବା economic forces to produce a particular kind of environment. So economic forces use kari a particular type of urban environment srishti karta seta hoki the political economic aspect of urbanism. तापरे पोस्ट मॉडर्न urbanism post modern urbanism which is a concept that was developed by Deer and Frosty who propounded the concept of post modern urbanism by synthesizing different recent studies on the contemporary form of southern Californian urbanism. California urbanism upare दक्षिण कैलिफोर्निया रो सहरवाद उपरे भित्ति करी से गोटे concept of post modern urbanism बा उत्तर आधुनिक शहरीवाद जेति बर्तन आमे कहूचे पोस्ट मॉडर्न सिटी मॉडर्नाइजेशन गोटे समय थिला आमे कहउतले जे मॉडर्न एंशिएंट मॉडर्न आमे सब मॉडर्न कहउतले मॉडर्नाइजेशन कथा कहउतले किंतु बर्तमान पोस्ट मॉडर्न कथा जते आसी गला तेनु सेही पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बानिज्म कांसेप्ट से गोटे देले जे पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बानिज्म उत्तर आधुनिकतार जो शहरीवाद पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म आसला परे से पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बानिज्म का कांसेप्ट से कहले के डियर एंड फ्रस्टी their key argument is that most 20th century urban analyses have been predicted on the Chicago School of Model Concentric Rings. जते analysis is urban सेटा सब Chicago School basis रे आने तेनु they aim to develop a new concept under the banner of Los Angeles School of Risk Keno Capitalism. तेनु से गोटे नुआ मॉडल दवा को चाहिए जे Chicago School मॉडल को छाड़ी आ गोटे नुआ मॉडल भितरे डेवलप कले जोटा को से कहते लॉस एंजेल्स स्कूल ऑफ सेंटरलेस कैपिटलिज्म लॉस एंजेल्स स्कूल ऑफ सेंटरलेस कैपिटलिज्म सेटा ही होची पोस्ट मॉडर्न कैपिटलिज्म पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बानिज्म बोले हमें कहते एंड द पोस्ट मॉडर्न आइडिया ऑफ द सिटी इमर्ज एज ए रिएक्शन अगेंस्ट द मॉडर्निज्म परे परे मॉडर्निज्म रो आधुनिकतावाद जेता आसला तार रिएक्शन तार प्रतिक्रिया स्वरूप पोस्ट मॉडर्न এবং মাইকেল ডিয়ার ए पोस्ट मॉडर्न सिटीज आर कंपोज्ड ऑफ पोस्ट मॉडर्न सिटी आमे कहतले मॉडर्न सिटी तापरे आसीगला कांसेप्ट ऑफ पोस्ट मॉडर्न सिटी उत्तर आधुनिक शहर सब सेटा उत्तर आधुनिक शहर आमे काउ कहबा ना जोडी जहार मल्टीपल डिफरेंटली इंटरकनेक्टेड साइट्स अरेंज्ड इन ए डिसेंट्रेटेड नॉन हायरार्किकल फैशन है ना मल्टीपल डिफरेंटली इंटरकनेक्टेड साइट्स बहु परिमाण रे मल्टीपल इंटरकनेक्टेड साइट्स थिबो arranged in a decentered माने arrange हेतिबो नॉन हायरार्किकल फैशन पुरा हायरार्किकली नही नॉन हायरार्किकल फैशन हेतिबो ह एति आउ कोन बथु मोर पोस्ट में द पेरिफेरी ऑर्गेनाइजेस द सेंटर एटी सेंटर को किए ऑर्गेनाइज करतो ना पेरिफेरी टा ऑर्गेनाइज करतो सेंटर local material and the informational flow enter into interaction with the global flow to constitute an urban economy that is globally integrated and dominated by the imperatives of flexibility. Globally integrated ହେଇଯିବ ଏବଂ flexibility dominate ହେଇଯିବ ତେଣୁ ତାକୁ କୁହାଯାଉଥିଲା post modernism. Local material and informational flow होतिବ local material ର flow होतिବ ବାହାରକୁ ଏବଂ information of local information ମଧ୍ୟ flow होतिବ ସେଟାକୁ post modernism କୁହାଯିବ. Then the condition of postmodernity by David Harvey defines the postmodern city with the rise of a historical eclecticism. So the historical eclecticism as inventing tradition by imitating the other forms. I mean tradition गुड़ा को invent करवा other forms. Multiculturalism, spectacle, a theater of sense, commercialization of built environment. एवं ए गुडाक सब थिले आमे ताको पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बानिज्म रे कहबा ए जो मॉडर्निज्म रो जो पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म होती इट रेफर्स टू चेंज ऑफ इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम एंड कल्चरल कोर्स के कहउछंती जो चेंज होउची मॉडर्निज्म टू पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म सेटा गोटे चेंज होउची बोथ इकोनॉमिक चेंज एंड गोटे होउची कल्चरल कोर्स इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम रे चेंज हबो एवं कल्चरल सिस्टम रे चेंज जत हबो सेटा पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म रू पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म में ट्रांसफर जेतेबेले आमे कहउतले आमे कैपिटलिस्ट थिलु कैपिटलिज्म को फॉलो करतलु सेतेबेले आमे मॉडर्न थिलु जेतेबेले बर्तन एलपीजी आसी गला लिबरलाइजेशन प्राइवेटाइजेशन ग्लोबलाइजेशन सब आसी गला आमे इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम रे से चेंज हैला ता फरे आमे मॉडर्निज्म रू पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म बेले को आसिले एवं आ कोन हबो ना कल्चरल कोड हमर कल्चरल कोड रे मध्ये चेंज आमे कल्चर ऊपर इंडिविजुअल कल्चर ऊपर बर्तन आमे we are leading towards multiculturalism adku jaute we are multicultural by our dress by our language by our ame sabu cultural language को ame use करछु बर्तमान sabu culture sabu लोक मानकर dress को ame mix up करछे समस्तंगर खाद्य ame we have Chinese dishes we have Japanese dishes we have Korean dishes we have American dishes ame sabu खाउछे so see जो मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म आसीगला कल्चरल कोड रे चेंज आसीगला इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम कल्चरल कोड रे मॉडर्निज्म को पोस्ट मॉडर्निज्म को शिफ्ट ଏବଂ एडा ए सेट ए सिटी गुडा कोन पोस्ट मॉडर्न सिटी गुडा गुडा सेल्फ कंटेन रीडिस्कवरी ऑफ द लोकल एवं डिसकंटीन्यूअस एंड फ्रैगमेंटेड स्पेस एवं ए जो वैल्यूज गुडा नुवा वैल्यूज मान सृष्टि हबो पोस्ट मॉडर्न कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन मॉडर्न शिफ्ट रे हमें कम्युनिटी थारु निजु को हम दूरे रखते कम्युनिटी से बर्तन पोस्ट मॉडर्न रे कम्युनिटी आडु को हमें कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन हमर बढ़ुची जेम हमें देखु जे बड़ा बड़ा लोक माने जो चाहुंती बेले बेले पार्टिसिपेटिंग कम डाउन एवं मिक्स विथ द कॉमन पीपल से जोटा कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ुची प्लूरलिज्म मिक्स्ड यूज एसोसिएटेड विथ इकोलॉजिकल अप्रोचेस pedestrian friendly design एगुडा को सब होती by the because of the post modern urban design then तापर आसला सस्टेनेबल अर्बन डेवलपमेंट आमे जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट कथा कहू सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट कहले निरंतर विकास जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट एटा गोटे हमर मिलेनियम डेवलपमेंट गोल जो सरकार हमर प्रोग्राम करथले सेटा गोटे हमर मिलेनियम डेवलपमेंट गोल रे गोटे गोटे लक्ष्य रही सेटा होची सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट वी आर आगु कहथले हमें डेवलपमेंट कथा किंतु वर्तमान हमें वी आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट ए जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट होची एटा बेसिकली 1990 पर थारु विकसित है नेशनली एंड इंटरनेशनली गोटे डेवलप होती एवं आम कौन करिया वी डेवलपमेंट आम आग डेवलपमेंट देखते डेवलपमेंट माने आम एनवायरनमेंट को खातिर न करी एनवायरनमेंट जाऊ जो आम डेवलप दिस वाज द ट्रेंड किंतु तले सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट आसी गला एटा आउट के रिफाइन हे गला will develop, but keeping at tune with environment. परिवेश सहित ताल रखी आमे जो विकास करू सेटा को सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट बोली कहबो एवं सेफ एनवायरनमेंट हेल्दी डेवलपमेंट हबो with a healthy and a safe environment is essential for development and continued survival of the population. तेणु sustainability गोटे to keeping a tie with the environment. Environment सहित ताल देई विकास को त्वरान्वित करबा कि होची आमे विकास को भी त्वरान्वित करबा आम परिवेश को मध्य ता सहित रक्षा करबा balance development है सेटा को हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट ही कहू डेवलपमेंट होछु इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ हो सोशल चेंज हो एनवायरमेंटल कंजर्वेशन हो ये सब एट ए टाइम जदी हो ताको हमें सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट बोली कहू तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट एज अ डेवलपमेंट दैट मीट द नीड ऑफ द प्रेजेंट generation without compromise the needs of the future generation. हम वर्तमान जनरेशन नीड को मीट करथबो किंतु फ्यूचर जनरेशन नीड को आवश्यकता को अफेक्ट करू नथिबो एई भली विकास जोटा हबो सेटा को हमें सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट बोली तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इनिशियली एसोसिएटेड विथ सस्टेनेबल एनवायरमेंटल डेवलपमेंट आगे तक हम कहते सस्टेनेबल एनवायरमेंटल डेवलपमेंट कैन डेवलपमेंट ऑलवेज एसोसिएटेड विथ एनवायरमेंट so that's why it is called as sustainable environmental development. Environment saita how we protect our environment and at the same time we do not compromise our development. Degradation destruction of the ecosystem jodi amer habo tahale development will be jeopardized. That's why there will be balance. The side effect of the growth of the human economy tar habo seta ko ame kariya pai sustainable development कथा कह जाय then urban sociology in India. India re you know that urban sociology in India is a very process of urbanization and urbanism in India attracted the attention of scholars on and off since 1950s. 1950 रो प्राय भारत रे शहरीकरण उपरे विशेष करी आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस एटा बेसिकली different scholars shows interest in India. So India basically the concept of urbanism the urban kathata it begins with India because India is the ancient civilization and in that Indus Valley civilization actually को पूर्व 2600 वर्ष पूर्व Indus Valley civilization में जो हड़प्पा मोहनजोदड़ो पर जो शहर दीटा थिला that speaks about the trends of urbanism in India and the ancient trends of there the ancient cities ancient urban cities किंतु urbanization in India is not a modern phenomenon. हमारा गोटे traditional process of organization was dated back to these days. तेणु किंतु परवर्ती समय रे urbanism टा आसिला आम देश को आम इंडिया को विभिन्न यूरोपियन ये माध्यम रे तापरे पीरियड ऑफ साइलेंस देन इट अर्बनाइजेशन इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन अर्बन सहित आसिला तेणु किंतु अर्बन हेले मध्य किंतु ता परवर्ती बहुत दिन समय पर्यंत जदि हमर एंशिएंट सिटी उज्जयिनी तला 6th सेंचुरी की सिटी तापर उज्जयिनी हमर जो शाहजहानाबाद ये सब बहुत दिन धरी कंटिन्यू करतला बट एट द सेम टाइम these cities the scholars of India have no shows special interest on the study of urban centers in India but our study of urban centers in India only comes during after 1950 after independence 50 परे भारत रे urban center मान ऊपर स्टडी करा जाय and social scientists began to show real interest in urban studies after 1951 census report. The 51 census report published pare revealed high growth of urban population in India. It shows the 1951 population census shows that urban population are also growing a higher rate in India, and that led scholars to show interest in the study of Indian cities. Scholars like Max Weber, Toynbee, Milton Singer, Robert Redfield, G.S. Murray, Radhakumar Mukherjee, D.N. Majumdar, a few scholars who showed interest in urban phenomenon in India. Professor Ghure, who was a successor of Patrick Geddes in Bombay University, showed keen interest in studying urban situation in India. He worked on the comparative and historical aspect of urbanization and also studied rural-urban relations and concentrated on the ecological, political, and cultural aspect of ancient and modern cities in the context of civilization. So that is reflected in his article Cities of India. G.S. Gure published a book named Cities in India in 1953. And Max Weber also similarly conducted a study in 1962, a comparative historical account of cities in India. He also made it. So by this, then after that, in 1964, Sosberg, he also studies on Indian cities of pre-industrial and industrial, considering industrial as the key variable. ସେ ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲାଇଜେସନ ର କି ଭେରିଏବଲ ନେଇ ଭାରତରେ ଯେତେ ସବୁ ଶିଳ୍ପଭିତ୍ତିକ ସହର ଅଛି ତା ଉପରେ ସବୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଧ୍ୟୟନ କରେ। ସୋ ରାଧାକମଳ ମୁଖାର୍ଜୀ initiated socio-ecological studies of Indian cities. He studies the ecological. He is the first in India. He is the first sociologist Radhakamala Mukherjee who initiated his ecological studies of Indian cities. So these are the various studies conducted in India on urban sociology. So any questions, any doubts, learners, please ask.
Students, any questions?
ସାର୍ ମୋର
Ramra?
ଗୋଟେ ସାର୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା କିନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା ଯେ କିନ୍ତୁ ମାନେ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ଉପରେ ନୁହେଁ ଯୋଉ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଡିସେମ୍ବର 2018ରେ ସାର୍ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ଆଡମିସନ କରିଥିଲୁ ତ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଦେଇନୁ କି ଏକ୍ଜାମ ବି ଦେଇନୁ ତ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ଆମର ଯେତେବେଳେ 2020ର ସାର୍ ସେଇଟା ଆମେ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟଟା 2018 ଦେବୁ ନା 2019ର ଦେବୁ ସାର୍?
ନାଇଁ ତମେ ବି 2020ରେ 2000 ମାନେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ କରିଛ?
ହଁ ସାର୍।
ତମେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ 2020ରେ ଯୋଉ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଆଭେଲେବଲ ଅଛି ସେଇଟା ଦବ।
ଯୋଉ 2019ର ଯୋଉ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟଟା 2020ର
ଯୋଉଟା
ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟରେ
19
ଆମେ ଦବୁ
ଜୁଲାଇ
ସାର୍
20 ଜାନୁଆରୀ ପାଇଁ ଯୋଉଟା ଆଭେଲେବଲ ଅଛି
ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର
ସେଇଟା
ସାର୍
ଦବ।
ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ସାର୍।
ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟରରେ ବି ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟରରେ ବି।
ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି ସାର୍, ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍।
ତମେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ କେବେ କଲ?
ସାର୍ ଡିସେମ୍ବର ସାର୍ କଲି।
ମାନେ ଏଇ ଡିସେମ୍ବର 2019 ଡିସେମ୍ବରରେ?
2018ରେ ସାର୍ କରିଥିଲି। 18ରୁ
18ରେ
19।
ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର କରିଥିଲ କହୁଛ ପରା?
ହଁ ହଁ 19ରେ ପୁଣି କରିଦେଇଥିଲି
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର
ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ
କେବେ
ସାର୍
କଲ?
2019ରେ ସାର୍।
2019 ଜାନୁଆରୀ ମାନେ 2019 କେବେ?
ଡିସେମ୍ବରରେ ସାର୍।
ଡିସେମ୍ବରରେ କଲ
ହଁ ସାର୍।
ରିରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ?
ହଁ ସାର୍।
ଓକେ, ତ ତମେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ଦେଇଦିଅ ହେଲା। ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଇୟର ତମେ ଦେଇଦିଅ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଜୁଲାଇ 20 ଜାନୁଆରୀ 20ରେ ଯୋଉଟା ଅଛି।
ଦିଟାକ
ତମେ
ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ
ସାର୍
ଇୟର ତମର
ଦେଇଦେବୁ। ହଁ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ସାର୍ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ତ 2020ରେ ଦେବି ସାର୍ ପୁଣି 2018 ଯୋଉଟା
2020 ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର ଭିତରେ ଦେଇପାରିବ।
ସାର୍ ସେ ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ଇୟର କରେଣ୍ଟ ଇୟରରେ ଦେବି ସାର୍।
ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ଇୟର ବି କରେଣ୍ଟ ଇୟର ଦବ।
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍।
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, learners.
ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ୍ ଥିଲା ସାର୍।
କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ସାର୍ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଏଇଟା ପଢିଆ ହଉଛି ଆଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଟାଇମ୍ ସାର୍ ଆମେ କେତେବେଳେ ଏଇଟା ରେକର୍ଡିଂ କରିକି ସାର୍ ଶୁଣିପାରିବୁ ସାର୍?
ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ଅଛି ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ଚ୍ୟାନେଲରେ ମୁଁ ଅପଲୋଡ କରୁଛି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍, ସାର୍ ମାନେ ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବରେ ସାର୍ କୋଉ ସାଇଟରେ ସାର୍?
IGNOU RC ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର।
ହଁ ସାର୍ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ସାର୍ ଏଜ୍ ବାଲାଟା ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ସେଇଟା ନା ଆରଟା ସାର୍?
କଣ କହିଲ?
ସାର୍ ସେ ଯୋଉ ଆରସି ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ସାର୍ ଦିଟା ସାର୍ ୱେବସାଇଟ୍ ନାହିଁ କି ସାର୍ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର
ଇଗ୍ନୋ
SWHIR
ଆର୍ସି
ଲାଗୁଛି ସାର୍।
ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ୟୁଟ୍ୟୁବ ଚ୍ୟାନେଲ ମାରିଲେ ଆସିବ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସାର୍।
सर रोहित सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार।